Guys, I guess the theme of today's videos is just gonna be consistency, right? Show me some consistency. I wish the Democrats would show me some consistency, okay? Because we gonna need it. They gonna need to start being consistent, okay? Particularly those who were supportive to all the protests and things that happened for the last 12 months, that turned a blind eye to it, that called every single event that was done by a Republican a super spreader event, and ignored the potential spreading of COVID at BLM / Antifa protests and riots and events, right? So, it's just, to me, it just blows my mind how these people can get away with this cognitive dissonance. I really just don't understand how people can go on TV, right? Particularly this next host, Sunny Hostin, who I've never heard a good take from. I've literally never heard her give a good take. For somebody that's a legal analyst, that's a lawyer, right? Somebody that's, somewhat educated. Okay, I've never heard her give one good take. Every single last one of her takes is strictly from a political ideology and a certain agenda that she's trying to push on The View. Okay? And she's not the only person, but there's also others who've been going after Ron DeSantis, right? The governor of Florida, who I think has done a great job, right? Balancing the virus, right? And keeping the economy open, because Florida economy depends on tourism. Okay? People have to go outside, go to the beach. They need to be out and about for them to make money. Right? If Florida shuts down, it will be a disaster for the state. It's not simple as you got to close everything down or you have to implement all these strict rules, because again, Florida is a tourism state, right? And a retirement state as well. Okay? It depends on people spending money in the economy. So there's this clip from The View of Sunny Hostin discussing the Super Bowl and what happened after the Super Bowl in terms of fans celebrating and whatnot. Okay? And then keep in mind, guys, this is one of the rare Super Bowls where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won basically on their home field. So you can imagine that fans are going to be super excited. Again, the governor is there, Ron DeSantis. They criticized him for not wearing a mask. I mean, he basically gave a great answer. He said, listen, how can I drink a beer with a mask on? You know what I'm saying? Again, I support, people wearing masks. I'm not against it. I recommend everybody follow anything the CDC says, any public health policy. Okay, I just want to make that clear. But Sunny Hostin's commentary on this, it's just gonna be so eerie, because you literally can apply everything she says to the same protest that she supported during the summer. Let's take a listen.
What do you think, Sunny? How will you handle it going forward?
Well, I'll continue to handle it as responsibly as possible by social distancing and wearing my mask and washing my hands.
Everybody's doing that. Right? Like, you're not saying anything revolutionary here. Everybody, that's what everybody's doing for the most part, right? I even went to Tennessee, right? I went to Tennessee. I forget what the name of the town was. It was like in the mountains, right? Even, again, one of these cities, these towns that literally operate based off tourism, people coming in, spending money, going on rides. Everybody was wearing a mask, right? Everybody was following the rules. Everybody was doing their thing, but they were still living their lives, right? I mean, this stuff is not hard, okay? Like, you can live your life and you shouldn't necessarily be criticized for that.
And hopefully getting the vaccine as soon as it is available. But I got to tell you, in watching 22,000 fans in the stadium yesterday,
who were socially distanced, by the way, who had masks, all the stuff that these people say you should follow, right? Like,
most wearing masks, but then afterwards, revelers running all around without masks. I just kept on thinking super spreader event, super spreader event, super spreader event.
Now, come on, guys. Look at this. So what they're showing here, yes, there are some people packed together, but is this nearly as packed as some of the BLM protests that we've seen? Come on now. Is this nearly as packed? I mean, we've seen BLM protests where cities are jam-packed. Okay, not even just mention the BLM. What about after the election? What about after Biden had won? What about the events after that? Were they super spreader events? No, not a super spreader event. She didn't criticize that because she supported that protest and she supported the outcome. But see, this is happening in a red state, a state that has been a leader in terms of how to balance the two, with a governor that's been a leader on how to balance it, not trying to be an authoritarian or a dictator or a fascist, you know, this terms and labels that you guys say that you hate so much that you're trying to fight against. He's not trying to do that. But yet she's criticizing people who are celebrating in their own hometown.
And I was thinking about Governor DeSantis with, lifting all of the restrictions. I thought, Florida's going to kill all of us.
See, it's claims like that, man. That's what really bothers me. You never said this when it came to the BLM protests or the celebrations after the election. You never said that these events, because of the pandemic, this once in a lifetime pandemic, could potentially kill all of us because of how close these people are and how much contact these people come into. And don't sit and try to tell me that all those people at those protests and those events was wearing masks, because they weren't. They all were not wearing masks. Okay? So listen to her say this. It's obviously about politics. It's obviously about playing for a team. It's obviously about pushing a certain narrative. Anybody except us who wants to live their life, we're going to criticize. That's what it's about.
I really felt that way, and there should be no reason why wearing a mask has been politicized the way that it has been.
Because you guys have politicized it. You're right. Wearing a mask should not be political. But the left has politicized wearing a mask because they are the ones who have applied this double standard to this virus, in the sense that if the right does anything, right, whether it's a mask, whether it's socially distanced, they don't care what it is. They're going to call a super spreader event just because the right is having some type of gathering, right? They don't care what it is. But see, if the left has a large gathering, right, if the left is not social distancing, if the left is not wearing masks, for example, Biden doesn't wear masks, nobody says anything. Nobody cares. Y'all completely ignore it. You don't even acknowledge it. But yeah, anybody on the right that's living their life does the same thing that the left is doing. You act like it's the worst thing in the world, right? Like, you got that politicizes the whole mask thing. That's what really has politicized this whole thing. Because if you was just consistent on both sides, it would be a lot less political.
There should be no reason why Governor DeSantis has been so woefully inadequate in terms of protecting the people not only of Florida, but the people of the United States.
How has he been woefully inadequate? Because he doesn't want to be a dictator? But again, I guarantee you, Sonny has said nothing about Dictator Cuomo up there in New York. He's had one of the worst states, but yet she's not going to say anything about it. Because that's a Democrat. She also lives in New York. And see, this is what I'm talking about. This is playing for a team. They might as well just name this Super Liberal View, right? Just rename this show Liberal View. Because that's what it is. They don't like conservatives. They don't even like conservative women. Only thing I'm hearing from this show is always pushing the liberal narrative from everybody up here, basically.
Imagine all those people, those 14,500 ticket buyers who are now going to fly back somewhere or go back into their communities and infect other people. I thought.
Wait. What about all the black people that participated in the BLM protests that went back into their communities with their grandmas and their mothers and their siblings and potentially spread the virus because they went out in the street and protested and potentially got exposed to the virus? What about those people? But CCC, she don't care about those people. She doesn't care about those people who may have lost their lives because somebody went to an event, and potentially, spread COVID back at the house. She doesn't care about those people. She only cares about them as a political tool to advance her agenda and her views. That's all it's about. And see, if she was actually consistent, if she actually cared about those lives, if she actually cared about COVID, she would have spoke out against that and said, hey, you know what? I understand why you're out here and you're doing this. But regardless of whether you wear a mask or not, it's probably not a good idea to be out here among all these people in an event like this that could potentially spread this virus. That's what a consistent view or opinion would be. That actually makes sense for somebody who claims to care about the loss of life. Somebody that claims to care about the spreading of this virus. But you don't care about it. Those people and the virus itself is nothing but a political tool to advance a certain view and a certain political agenda. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I just wish that these people would just call it like it is. Just call it like it is. Just tell me, hey, I don't really care about these people. I just want to make sure my agenda is pushed. I don't care about the virus, right? Just go ahead and say it. Because I know that's how you feel, right? Because you're inconsistent. Consistent people would care regardless of which side of the aisle the issue is on. They would call it the same.
Thought it was just despicable and disgusting. But one thing that I really want to mention very quickly is Barrington Irving, that wonderful pilot that...
All right, she's done with this. But, yeah, I mean, bruh, again, like I said, I've never heard a good take from Sunny Hostin. I don't even know how she keeps getting Emmys or whatever they're called. You know, she's every single time I watch this show, it's always the same point of view. They're always saying the same things. There's no diversity, right? There's a bunch of diverse faces. There's no diverse thoughts, right, on this show whatsoever. Okay? And these people are not consistent. They're not principled. And I just wish these people would be consistent, because I'm going to tell you, you know, once all this stuff dies down, who knows if there's going to be another BLM protest? Who knows if they'll be riding in the streets again? Nobody has any idea what's going to happen in the future. And when that happens again in the future, because of all the energy that these people put behind what happened at the Capitol, they put behind Trump, I don't see how they can go on TV with a straight face and not condemn whatever future BLM or Antifa riots that come up to the fullest, and say these same exact things, that it's a super spreader event, that is violence, that they don't support it, that it is wrong. I don't understand how they can't say any of that. Okay, they have to say that, right? And I mean, if they don't, I mean, at this point, it's like, is there any standard to the media? Can you even call yourself a journalist? Why should you even be taken seriously at all? So, you know, I mean, this type of stuff, man, again, it's just annoying because there's no principles here. They're literally just saying what they're saying to fit whatever narrative that they want to push on society. And it's really shameful. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.